Gov. Eric Greitens is right. U.S. Sens. Claire McCaskill and Roy Blunt should read the Veterans Affairs audit of the regional VA office in St. Louis. But not for the reasons the governor suggests. The request came in a letter that Greitens, a Republican, sent Thursday to McCaskill, a Democrat, and Blunt, a Republican. The letter, full of snark and political platitudes, was a response to one sent by the two senators asking the governor to open an investigation into complaints of poor medical care and bad treatment of employees at the St. Louis Veterans Home, a state-run facility. The complaints came to light in my column on October 29, and then a public meeting the next day, followed by numerous other media reports. Greitens didn't take kindly to the senators asking him to do that, which veterans, family members, employees at the facility, and Lieutenant Gov. Mike Parson, also a Republican, were requesting. Frankly, it's good to see some signs of life out of Congress, the governor wrote. A lot of us back home have been wondering what you've been up to. In fact, at the time the letter was sent, McCaskill was back home visiting her sick husband in the hospital. But I digress. Back to the governor's letter. You probably knew about these investigations before you sent a letter requesting an investigation. Or maybe you didn't, Greitens wrote. Because in the other part of your letter you asked for a copy of the VA report on the St. Louis Veterans Home. The VA publicly released that report back in September. If you lost your copy, you can Google St. Louis Veterans Report Survey VA. It's the second link down. As my friends at St. Louis Public Radio were the first to point out, there was a VA report 2 links down after that search. After coverage of Greitens' letter, the result has dropped but it was not the survey the governor was talking about. The annual survey of the St. Louis Veterans Home was linked online to my Sunday column outlining the complaints of veterans and their families. It is a 57-page document that lists 158 categories of various standards that are analyzed to see if they are met. Every category is met according to the survey. What's stark about it is its perfection. No questions, no comments, no details, no mentions of interviews with family, employees or the medical director who says he spoke with the survey team. The entire report is blank except for the word met being printed 158 times. Perhaps the governor doesn't find that curious, knowing as he did in July, if not several months earlier, that there were serious complaints about the facility being made by veterans, the families, their employees and advocates. How could the report look so pristine? The answer, according to employees and family members of the veterans who live there, is that Home Administrator Rolando Carter had a heads up and took extraordinary measures to prepare for the VA visit. Social worker Troy Rook said he knew of the visit at least a week in advance. So did certified nursing assistant Russell Douglas. So did family member Jim Luebert, whose father had died a month before, and medical director Dr. Naveed Razak. Even veterans advocate Rick Stream, a former state representative, knew of the impending visit. They all find the report's conclusions to be dubious. In his letter to Sense. McCaskill and Blunt, Gov. Greitens calls the annual survey an investigation, but it doesn't read like one. That's why his Google error is so telling. The report he accidentally directed McCaskill and Blunt to is actually an inspection of disability claims in the federal VA hospital at Jefferson Barracks. The audit, conducted by the Office of Inspector General, is 30 pages of rich detail. In reviewing more than 1,000 claims, the auditors found several errors in processing, from over- and underpayments to veterans and providers, improper paperwork, delays and other errors. The auditors called for more training and better attention to detail. There was an opportunity for VA administrators to respond to the findings and make recommendations. For anybody who has spent much time reading such audits and investigations, the VA report comes off as a serious, thorough effort. It is the sort of investigation that is needed regarding serious complaints that have been raised about veterans' care to Greitens or Parson both since at least February. Such a rigorous examination has yet to take place at the St. Louis Veterans Home of the Missouri Veterans Commission. I know, because I Googled it.